Everyone, this is a regular meeting agenda of the governing body of the Borough of Bloomingdale, Tuesday, November 22nd, 2022 at 7 p.m. Call this meeting to order by the salute to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mayor D'Amato.
Here.
Councilman Catalano.
Here.
Councilman Graziano.
Here.
Councilwoman Hudson.
Here.
Councilman Julin.
Here.
Councilwoman Schubert. Here. And Councilman Yasi is excused.
Okay. We also have Municipal Clerk Brianna Smith, Business Administrator Michael Sondermeyer, and Borough Attorney Dawn Sullivan. This meeting is called to pursuant to provisions of the Open Public Meetings Law. Adequate notice of this meeting was advertised in the Herald News on January 12, 2022. Copies were provided to the local news media and posted continuously in the municipal building. A copy of this notice is available to the public and is on file in the office of the municipal clerk. As per state fire code, I am required to acknowledge that there are two emergency exits in this council chambers: the main entrance, which you entered through, and a secondary exit to the left of where I am seated. If there is an emergency, walk orderly to the exits, exit through the door, down the stairs, and out the building. If there are any questions, please raise your hand. Seeing none, we do not have any non-agenda items. Can I have a motion to open up to early public comment?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone wishing to speak, please come forward. Could have combed your hair.
What's that?
You could have combed your hair.
Yeah. Frank Newberger, Assistant Fire Chief, and DPW Assistant Superintendent. I'd like to thank the committee for last Monday meeting with, last Monday, 2 Mondays ago, the Safety Committee for meeting with me and having a discussion on the resolution that you guys are passing tonight on the personnel policy. I appreciate that everybody sat and listened to me and had a open mind and understood some of what my worries were. I appreciate that you made some stipulations, and I do feel a little better after talking to the chief today about our firemen being able to respond and where the responsibility comes into place and where they, whether or not they're going to be held liable, whether or not they are leaving their firearm in their vehicle or not. So I do feel better about that. I do have some other concerns, and I hope that in the future that we can have an open dialogue and maybe meet with that committee again, as well as the chief, to touch on some of my concerns that I have in the future. I do have some concerns, and I do think that there are some places that we could change. I understand how hard it is to be the chief of police or the cops downstairs that have to respond to these calls and not know whether or not somebody is carrying a firearm or not. I do obviously believe that that is the least of our problems at the residents or the employees that are carrying on a regular basis that have gone through the proper chain of command and going through the shooting to get that license properly. I don't think that is your problem. I think it's everything else that's coming into town or driving through town. I think that's your bigger problems. But I do appreciate that everybody sat with me 2 weeks ago on Monday and talked to me about it, and that we were able to have that discussion. So that's it. Thank you.
Thanks, Frank. Anyone else? Seeing no one, motion to close.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, reported committees?
Actually, John, could you just back up real quick, please?
Sure.
Just a summary of that conversation, that meeting. I wasn't at it.
It was,
A little 30,000-foot overview. Some of your concerns, I'd love to hear them.
well, I think I can summarize pretty much. Frank had concerns that he believes that the borough employees, DPW, volunteer firemen, should be able to carry while working or responding to an alarm. After a long discussion, and we had chief on the phone and a conference call in the Public Safety Committee. And we reviewed our discussion last time, and we were all in favor of not letting that happen. And Frank just showed his concerns, what he believed in, but as us, as the borough making the policies up, it's up to the council to make a policy for any policy. So tonight, we're going to hopefully pass a policy that no employee, and this is also volunteer firemen, volunteer basketball coaches, anybody that has anything tied to the borough, because you're all considered a borough employee, okay, under the rule. So we will not allow that to happen, carry a firearm.
So then no change from the previous council meeting?
Correct.
Okay, that's all, thanks.
All right, and Frank had some good concerns, and we talked back and forth, and the chief, we addressed all his concerns, and
The language in the resolution
Yeah.
was tweaked a little bit just to make it clearer
yeah.
to address some of the concerns raised.
Basically, what's going to be, I will say, allowed, and I'll put my volunteer fireman hat on, all right? If I have the license to carry, if I respond to an alarm, my weapon will have to be stored properly in my personal vehicle. So it will not be in a borough vehicle, will not be in a borough building, but it will be in that person's personal vehicle. Okay?
Okay.
All right, and that's anybody, that's not just firemen, that's, if you're, if I'm a kid's basketball coach, I can't bring it into the Donald School, which you're not allowed to bring it to a school anyway, I'm just saying. If they have a meeting at senior center, it's a borough building, you cannot bring it in there.
And signs, there'll be signs posted?
Signs being posted, we're not there yet, we have to have that discussion.
Yeah, that would be.
This is
the
basically
ordinance.
their personnel manual for the borough employees. All right? If you're, like, we're all borough employees now, so you know the policy. Every borough employee will get a copy of this, and they usually all sign off on it, which they already have signed off on the manual. No matter who you are, you're supposed to sign off on it. Okay? And the regular resident, we can't do anything about. Okay? That's not our,
Makes sense.
that area.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay? Okay. Report of committees. John?
Yes, I've got a few. So we'll start with, well, I guess they're all from the EDC, actually, now that I look at it. First, we have a window decorating contest that we're looking for some support from the council and a resolution in the consent agenda. So this is similar to what's going on in Butler. So it's asking for participants, and right now we have a little under 10, I want to say, that will be decorating their windows in support of winter and the holiday season. And then there'll be a general, like a contest to see who has the best one. It's really just for bragging rights. There's no monetary award or anything like that, but it's really to highlight the business, show them participating in something with the town, and to showcase them on social media. Next one, we had Coffee with Cops last Saturday. It was very successful. Again, a thank you to Chief and all the police that showed up. Many of them had the day off, and they came anyway. It was a great turnout, and I think a very successful event that we hope to repeat at some point in the future at a different business. And thanks to several of the folks up here that showed up as well to show support. We have the Sloan Park Holiday Stroll set for December 17th from 12 to 3. There are flyers that are posted, and it's all around. I think we're going to up our promotioning for that coming up, right, through social media and other platforms. And this is a date to mark down, December 3rd. The Dollar General, it's having a ribbon cutting ceremony at 10 a.m. So again, it's December 3rd at 10 a.m. over at Dollar General. And then the last item, the EDC put together what they're calling a holiday gift guide, which is it's a good idea. It's for local businesses that have a one-page gift guide, just like you get from Target or Amazon or wherever, but just for local businesses. So examples, things to get for him, things to get for her, for the kids, all things that you can get from local businesses. So I believe Bree had posted that to our borough webpage, but there's also other places you can find it. If you find it on Facebook, you can also see certain locations where we have a printed copy that'll be available in some of the stores. So I thought that was a clever idea and a good one. I hope we can continue doing that for years to come. So that's all on my side.
Okay.
Public events, really.
He
John
pretty much
talked about
covered
it. The New Year Drew. We started scheduling some of the dates for next year. If you could just double check with Triborough. Really, the only dates that we could come up with was April 22nd and 23rd, I believe.
For,
Parade.
For the Little League
Opening day?
Parade. For opening day.
all right.
It's also, again, as it always is, where Easter falls, and so that's what I threw on the schedule tentatively.
Okay, that's-
If you could just let me know.
That's fine. We had our first reorg meeting last week, reappointed, or appointed new people to the board, so we're going to meet hopefully before Christmas, and then I'll get back to you before then. But, yeah, so wherever Easter kind of falls dictates the parade, so.
Well, it's not that it just, it dictates everything.
Yeah,
Because then,
yeah.
you know, our fishing thing and like, unfortunately, it makes us move things around.
I'll get back to you on that.
Okay, thanks.
No problem.
Drew?
I've just got a couple. Through rec, so tomorrow, no, I'm sorry, the 29th at Fireman's Hall is the final ski and snowboard registration. It's a great program. Both my sons learned to snowboard through the program, and it continues to grow and evolve. That's at Fireman's Hall from 6 to 8 on 11/29. Holiday stroll, we covered that one. Basketball registration, K through 8th. The deadline is actually tomorrow. That's done online. December 3rd, holiday event at Walter T. at 2 p.m., rain date December 4. That's all from rec. The toy drive is in full swing right now. They're going to stop collecting toys on the 8th, so there's literally boxes everywhere in Butler and Bloomingdale to donate. So let's keep that going and outdo what we did last year. And then last but not least, the Triborough Little League Winter Training Program concluded last Sunday with a kickball game. And we had a great turnout throughout the entire program, so we have requests in right now with the Richard Butler School to use their gym to extend the program in February and March, because the turnout was really good. So sit tight there. We'll announce that on our Facebook and our webpage. And I believe that's all. Oh, next door.
Yeah,
Yeah,
26.
yeah. So there's a vendor fair, right, on Saturday at the Fireman's Hall.
I don't know the time. I know what time it is on Saturday. We'll find it.
Okay. So it's on Saturday at the Fireman's Hall vendor fair to support this program, this community outreach program, the toy drive, which has been a huge success for Bloomingdale and for Butler.
And I think they got a couple food trucks out front,
1 to 4 next door, Saturday.
right, food trucks.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would have gotten home and got in trouble if I didn't mention that.
exactly. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Thank you.
The hall's already set for that?
I believe so.
Yeah, we set that last night for them, so that's good to go. Mike, we just got to have, while Frank's here, is the parking lot coned off in the front. And I will stop in Bob's Barber Shop to let him know.
Maybe the chief can help us, because he's got it on.
Yeah.
The police can help us on that. I'll talk to Joe.
Well, as long as we get the cones out, we can put them out. The front of the Fireman's Hall, they're using that for the food trucks, and they just need that coned off the day of the event in the morning, so people don't go into, to get a haircut, and you don't want cars going in and out with people walking in the front. Saturday.
This Saturday.
You can go down tomorrow?
That's what I'm saying. Maybe the police can help us that day, people on duty.
Yeah. If you can, I can come down to make a difference. Just put them in the firehouse. Okay? Mike, anything?
Just a couple things, Mayor. We paved with our co-op paving, Heather Lane and Struble Lane, since our last meeting. Both came out wonderful. People are excited. And then we also, possibility of getting a donation from Tilcon, some monetary donation to purchase a artificial Christmas tree that we saw down at the league this past week, I should say. So hoping to hear more next week, and that it goes through.
Yeah. Okay. All right, it's a all lighted Christmas tree. It's not a standard Christmas tree. It's,
About
I
30
don't know how to
foot
explain,
tall.
about 30 foot
Yeah.
tall, big start of it. You can actually walk through the center of it. You can do pictures with your family inside of it. And we'll put that somewhere in the park, and we'll have it, if we get it, it'll be for the 17th. We'll be ready to have it for
It'll
our
definitely be before then.
our event.
Yep.
And there's also, you want to touch on the other, it's possible the Santa house?
Oh, you mentioned the shed.
Yeah.
I want to buy everything at
There-
the,
There's a, what's the name of the group, John?
the Girl Scouts. It's a silver award.
Silver Award. So they approached us, what they do is they try to get a shed donated to them, small shed, and then the Girl Scouts decorate it for Christmas, and then they donate it to a town, and then that's where Santa would sit, like, kind of like the Butler Park. So when we open up the park, Santa will be inside his little house, and the kids can go visit Santa. So we're hoping to have that for the 17th, if we can work that out with them. We're in communication with them, but we're dealing with high school kids, so it's a little different than, it's up to them to get it done. So hopefully that'll happen, which would be really nice for the park.
With the library, they have lots of stuff going on before our meeting, the 20th. Wednesday, December 7th, they have our class with Miss Liana, and that's for children ages 5 to 9 at the senior center from 6 to 7. They also have the BBCO toy drive, where they're collecting, and they're also gonna be at the holiday stroll to gather around. They're gonna, I guess, read to the kids. I guess Kelly's gonna do that. And as far as the seniors go, they just have at the end of their last couple things at the senior center. They're closed, obviously, for Thanksgiving. Their chair aerobics and their WISE program and Passaic County Surrogate. It's a meeting at 10 a.m. and it says that's Tuesday, the 29th, next Tuesday. And all their other events that they do, like the aerobics at the center.
Okay, good. Okay, Bree, anything? Nothing? Okay. All right, let's go on. Resolution number 2022-11-10, consent agenda. I have a motion to accept the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? Roll call, please.
Catalano,
Yes.
Graziano,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Doolin,
Yes.
Hubert,
Yes.
Pending items, adoption of resolution number 2022-11.22. Hiring part-time seasonal help for the DPW R. Zielhofer, is that it? Zielenhofer? Can I have a motion, please?
So moved. Second.
Can I do it all in favor here? No? Okay. Roll call, please.
Graziano,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Doolin,
Yes.
Hubert,
Yes.
Catalano,
Yes.
Okay. Item B, adoption of resolution number 2022-11.23, authorizing amendment to the Employees Handbook Policy and Procedure Manual prohibiting firearms in the workplace. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Hudson,
Yes.
Doolin,
Yes.
Hubert,
Yes.
Catalano,
If I may, I have to say, I was very torn about this one initially, and I think that I really did appreciate a lot of the conversation I had with both Frank and his concerns and the chief and his, and it took a while to look back and consider this not just in the light of a 2A issue, and more in the light of a workforce and safety issue. And I took comparison to, in fact, how the U.S. military actually enforces that you can't carry a personal weapon when on patrol as well. And I looked into some of how the private sector handles their employees, and they have similar policies for personal carry. And while it was challenging for me to come to this, I do have to say yes, and I think it's the appropriate decision for our handbook, so, yes.
Graziano,
Yes.
Okay. Okay, approval of budget capital items. Resolution number 2022-11.24, upgrade to the borough fueling stations at DPW, Petrie Mechanics, Inc. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call. Unless there's any comments.
Is it a repair, or is this a new technology? Is it,
Combination of both.
okay.
They're gonna do some software upgrades, and then also they recommend that, correct me if I'm wrong, Frank, we're gonna power wash the inside and coat it with something, because they're saying to get more life out of those 2 tanks.
Quick summary of the current system, we have no way to know that we are running out of fuel until, unfortunately, we run out of fuel. The new system will actually attach to our computer-based program and tell us what our fuel levels are.
But they are going to drain them down and,
They're gonna clean the insides, they're gonna upgrade them, and we will have full control of knowing from pretty much anywhere in the borough, or if I'm at home or Al's at home, we can literally know whether or not the tanks are running low, and I have to get Rachel and Michelle in there to fuel.
okay, and we have a plan in place when we're at,
Nothing's gonna change, everything's gonna be done within 24 hours.
okay. Okay. Roll call, please.
Julian,
Yes.
Schubert,
Yes.
Catalano,
Yes.
Graziano,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Okay. Resolution number 2022-11.25, install and replace camera system, Sloan Park, Bogue Park, Walter T. Berger School, DPW, Be Secure Alarms, LLC. Have a motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments?
Just one question on Walter T. Just the restrooms only, correct? Nothing related to the school? Doors, windows, in and out? Just the restrooms, correct?
New restroom, they're just replacing the current system that's already there.
And do we feel this could solve the problem of having the bathrooms open when people are using the fields? So I don't feel like we've solved that problem.
We didn't solve that problem. What we tried to do is go with an automatic lock that we can control.
Right.
But I believe it was the cost and the tying into a Wi-Fi system, it did not work. So only other way to do it is a key system. So either we have somebody go in morning or afternoon and open it, and somebody at night to close it. Or we put a lockbox on there, or a code, and then we can change that code anytime we want. Because we probably have a ton of keys sitting out there. So,
Sure, yeah.
you know, I can tell you when we do softball, I get there, I open it, and I close it at 10:30 when both teams are done or both games are done.
Yeah.
But I know the soccer guys use it, baseball uses
Yep.
it, everybody uses it. So I think we do need a better plan, so it's more usable.
Yeah, well, the good news, it's winter and the fields aren't being used, so we got
Yeah.
some time to
To
figure
think
something
it
out
through.
before next season.
Yeah.
And they are new at Sloan Park and Bogue, and Delasier too, I thought, Frank. Aren't we doing something at Delasier with the cameras?
I believe so.
Can we look into switching out the ones at the garden as well? They're not user-friendly. But that would take care of that whole parking lot as well.
I will find out. The new system is going to be completely separate. We're going to tie in where, it's my understanding, it definitely from the DPW, I'll be able to see everything. Myself, Billy, and Al will be able to see everything from the DPW. If all goes well and we can, we're going to tie in the police department to it as well, where they'll be able to see all the cameras as well. I do believe there's more cameras on there. Anything that currently has a camera is getting upgraded to the new system. I believe we did look at the senior center and the garden, but I have to confirm that.
Yeah, can you just let me know? Thanks.
Okay, any other questions? Roll call.
Schubert,
Yes.
Catalano,
Yes.
Graziano,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Julian,
Yes.
Okay. New business, adoption of resolution number 2022-11.26, payment of the bills. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Catalano,
Yes.
Graziano,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Julian,
Yes.
Schubert,
Yes.
Okay. Item B, adoption of resolution number 2022-11.27, hiring full-time assistant to the CFO and Finance Department, Jasmine Ascona. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? Roll call.
Graziano,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Julian,
Yes.
Schubert,
Yes.
Catalano,
Yes.
Okay. Item C, adoption of resolution number 2022-11.28, professional engineering services, lead service line inventory crew.
Crew is the engineers.
Crew is the engineers.
Doing it.
This is the,
I guess get a motion.
yeah, can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Just want to explain that?
Yes, this has come down from the state. This is, we need to identify all lead services in our town. Crew engineering is proposing to do that. And it's going to be an ongoing thing for quite a few years, I believe, until we find it all out. This is just the first round of this. And then also, there's another side of this coming next, probably next month or in February. We didn't have the money to budget it in, where they have to do some other stuff for us. Crew, this is engineering service for state recommended stuff with our water service. So this is just phase one, just to start the inventory of the lead lines coming to our houses,
Okay.
identifying.
Is this
Then we
similar
put together
to,
a plan, how we're going to remediate it and all that stuff, so.
is this similar to the age of the homes that we were working on going back?
But they're going to do an inventory of the entire town to find out
What's what?
what's what. The one you're talking about was lead paint. And
Yep.
that's everything 78 and older.
Right.
They have to do. This is, every house they're gonna identify if there's lead coming in with the service line.
Okay.
And then once they identify it, then we present that plan to the state, and then we have to come up with a plan. Again, that's part B to this, to how are we gonna remediate it. Obviously, the homeowner, us, whatever the case may be, is gonna have to come up with, hopefully grants, engineering. Provided working on looking at securing some grants for this as well, but right now, there's nothing to get.
Okay.
Do they have, is there any discrepancy in the, like, in the water coming into the house? Do they shut things down? Do they have to, do they tell the block that they're gonna work? How's that work?
All they're doing right now is just strictly doing an inventory to find out who has lead lines coming into their house.
So I think.
And once they get that inventory, then they'll go back and they'll come up with some type of plan, what are we gonna do to fix this or remedy it?
They'll make direct contact with the homeowner?
Yep, they'll come out and make the inventory. I'm assuming they'll talk to, go ahead, Frank.
The way this is all gonna work is, ultimately, what Crew's doing is they're setting up a baseline of pretty much a program to put this all together. And then it's gonna come down to the utility to make entry into every house. So, yes, it won't be a block at a time, because to try and get an employee into every single house at one time is gonna be very hard. What they're looking to do is Crew's gonna set up, again, a program, they're gonna send out flyers. We're hoping to get somewhere between 5 and 10% of the homeowners to answer these cards that Crew's gonna send out. And we're hoping to get, again, we're anticipating like 10% of the homeowners to physically answer these cards. It would go right into their website, and then as my guys go out and do the inspections inside the houses or outside the houses, depending on where they can get into, if they can upload it as well right to the program, and then that would go to the DEP at some point. There is 2 parts of the program. Again, like Mike said, I don't even remember what the cost was off the top of my head, but it was substantial, and it wasn't.
Second part is
We didn't have
substantial.
enough to do both parts right now, so we're splitting it into one for 2022 and one for 2023.
Okay.
But there will be an employee that will have to get into every single house in the borough of Bloomingdale in a certain time frame, and that is regulated right now by the DEP.
And it's not just Bloomingdale, this is statewide, I think. They're not just pinpoint Bloomingdale.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there a date when lead pipe was no longer allowed to run into a home?
So the problem is.
To give us a sense of how many homes are going to be impacted by this?
So we had already had to do that. We had maybe 200 or 300 that we anticipated there could be a problem with. They sent out samples, they did that whole process, and then DEP came pretty much, ultimately came in and said, yeah, that's not good enough. We want you to get into every single house and check anyway, because it may not be galvanized, but they may have used lead soldering in there, so they want us to physically get in and look at if it's copper pipe, does it have lead soldering? If it's galvanized pipe, that's actually lead. It's very hard to determine exactly what those dates are. And we did do that originally, and then they changed their policy and told them to get into the house.
Okay.
And that's when we got crew involved.
Right, but I'll ask it another way. So like, for example, in 1980, fill in the blank, you can no longer use lead. Does that date exist, or we don't know?
We have that, we know when houses were built past a certain date.
Correct.
There's only a handful.
Yeah, there's not so much that lead couldn't be used, because
No
it's very
longer, yeah.
recent that lead couldn't be used, whether it's in the meters or any of that. It's not that long ago that they started really putting it down and saying, no more lead pipe, no more lead in meters, everything had to be copper.
So we're going to expect a big number then?
We're not expecting a big number, but we still physically have to get into the houses to inspect it. We're anticipating maybe having 200 houses that we may have to remediate, and then the question on that is whose responsibility it is. The engineers were saying that they feel it may be the responsibility of the borough to remediate, and that's going to be why.
That's why we're looking for grants. And there's money out there to had from the DEP, but we gotta see where we're at first.
Well,
And see most of that'll go to the cities.
Let's not jump to where we
Yeah.
don't know yet.
No, lead is like it's a pretty hot topic whenever you hear
Oh,
that
yeah,
word.
it
It gets everybody's attention. Timeline for this whole process? 6 months, year? Don't know?
Years.
Multiple.
Years.
You're talking
Years.
to finish it or just find it?
Find out.
So it won't be years to find it.
Yeah, the inventory process.
The inventory process is part of it.
Correct, right, we're going to have.
It's gonna be
How much
like
cooperation you get?
at
Well-
least a year and a half to 2 years to find it all out.
Does the state give you a deadline, like, this has to be complete by?
It just need to be started, they give you X amount of years, it had to be started by, I forget what the day was, August of this year or something like that it was.
Does this include all of the actual, so I'm hearing a lot about getting in the homes and seeing the service lines. Does this include all of the mains and any of the feeds as well that we've got to evaluate in the town?
So we don't, the mains themselves, we don't have to inspect. We know what most of those pipes are, and none of those are soldered together or any of that. Our big concern is, if once we get in, whatever's in the house, coming into the house, is gonna be what they ran out of the house.
The service, yeah.
The best thing is to get into the house, see what's coming through the floor into the household. The only other option is to dig up every curb box and then know what every single line is going from that curb box in and that curb box out, and
That's costly. That's costly.
we're good, right? And we've done projects like that in the past. We're good for on a great day, 3 curb boxes a day. We've got 2,500 homes in Bloomingdale.
You gotta get
2
into the
years.
house.
Yeah, and we're not 100% sure that it's owned, at this point, we're not 100% sure that they're not going to push us into houses that have wells or anything else. Right now, we're only anticipating having to get into homes that are on city water, but that may not be the case.
More to come.
Interesting.
Okay.
Do we know if this is just a sidebar question, but do we know if this is a result of what occurred in Newark? And then
I mean,
that
that's all, I'm
was-
assuming it's all stemming, that was where they started, but I'm sure the whole state is obligated to do what Newark did,
Okay.
or doing, I should say. Okay. Okay, roll call.
Hudson,
Yes.
Doolin,
Yes.
Schubert,
Yes.
Catalano,
Yes.
Graziano,
Yes.
Okay, can I have a motion to go to late public comment?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone wishing to speak, please come up.
I'm Lake 86 Van Dam. I want to commend the DPW, one person in particular. The day after election, I went to the DPW, dropped off some cardboard and some wires and stuff. And I was dropping off these wires, and I was throwing them into the bin. And as I did it, I grabbed my thing, my keypad went flying. I don't know where the hell it went. Excuse me. So anyway, I'm standing like, what am I going to do? I don't have my key. I can't get my car. So I'm walking around, and I see Clint Vermo. And I said, I need help. So he said, what happened? So I told him. He goes, don't worry. He got into the dumpster, and he's looking all through the dumpster for the key. Well, then I'm like, he goes, you sure? We didn't? I said, I don't know, definitely. So then I backed up, and I'm looking all around DPWR, and I saw it probably about 50 feet back. I said, I found it. But he didn't have to do that, and he did. And I want to just thank him for doing that. And I said, I told him then, but I just wanted to let you guys know that this is what he did, and it was way above and beyond. That's all.
Appreciate that.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Seeing no one, a motion to close?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we do have one executive session, one matter of personnel. There will be no action taken after that. It's just a discussion. So could I have a motion to go into executive?
So
So
moved.
moved. Second.
All in favor?